What's up everybody, 40 the Broadway Saiyan here, and welcome back again to my YouTube channel, back with another video on Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia. In today's video, we're going to be continuing the Art of series. This time we're going to be focusing on the Art of Raijin. Raijin will be receiving his C90, as well as a rework and the debut of his LD weapon. As always, I want to remind you guys not only to watch my videos, but check out the other fantastic content creators for this game, as well as utilizing your resources such as the Compendium and Tonberry Troop. That way you guys can formulate your own educated decision on whether or not these weapons that I talk about are worth pulling for your guys' DFFOO accounts. But without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right into the Art of Raijin. So Raijin is going to be getting a rework. His skill 1, Fist, is now going to be hitting harder with 5 HP attacks, and there's going to be brave refunds after each HP attack except the last one. His skill 2, Raijin Special, now hits harder with 3 HP attacks. His Raijin Lightning Discharge plus HP command, that's the one that he gets with his stackable buff coming from his EX. This now hits harder with 2 HP attacks. It also is now insta-turn rate and does not increase the turn count, which makes it a lot more effective. And this is the command that applies that stun or that paralysis on all enemies. Now his C65, Physical Attack All Thunder Crush, is now going to hit harder and extends the duration of its effects. It grants the party an improved melee and ranged attack up, and also now grants the party Brave Damage Cap up. His EX, Raijin Pulverizer, with the C85 extension, now has a faster recast speed. It now hits harder with 4 HP attacks. It now inflicts Thunder Imperil on all enemies after the first HP attack. And the EX buff now grants him HP damage up, and it also allows him to retain a portion of his Brave after his HP attacks. Finally, let's go ahead and go over his brand new weapon, which is going to be his LD. So his LD is called Raijin Prod. From full upgrades, it deals 4 full AoE HP attacks. It also heals the party's HP based on the HP damage dealt. Any excess heals are converted to Brave. It inflicts his LD debuff on all enemies, and this is what the debuff does. HP damage down by 100%, HP damage resist down by 20%, attack down by 100%, and enemies cannot inflict debuffs on your party while this is active. So this is extremely powerful, which is why there's been a lot of buzz regarding this particular LD, even just used as an LD call. So final thoughts on Raijin. I actually think he's a great physical damage dealer with solid damage output. He has the Thunder Enchant and the Thunder Imperil, and he's also great for stun locking enemies. And now with that LD buff, it's arguably one of the best in the game, and this applies to his LD call as well. And I want to say that even if you're pulling just solely to use him later on as an LD call, that is super valuable, because that HP damage down coupled with that increased HP damage dealt to them, and as well as the attack down by 100% and being unable to inflict debuffs, comes in handy, especially in the Shinryu era, where enemies will have thresholds where they could potentially debilitate or outright kill your entire party. And this LD, having this LD debuff active, can come in handy in situations like that, and also in situations, let's say, if you're using turn abuse characters, and let's say enemies in the Shinryu era will warp because, you know, you've taken too many turns and they're about to do something huge. If that LD debuff is active, they're not going to be able to do anything to you, because it's pretty much like Reno's debuff, except it lasts for 2 turns and it doesn't go down. So super powerful. It allows you to deal more damage to enemies and completely just debilitates them, being unable to deal any damage on your party, and also being unable to inflict any debuffs on your party. So I give Raijin a big thumbs up. I'm definitely going to be pulling for him, even just for the LD call. It's really that powerful, and I personally recommend you guys to hopefully go for it if you have the resources to do so, because it's such a handy LD call to have in your back pocket. So we're going to go ahead and go into some live gameplay here. I am taking the Disciplinary Squad along with Raijin. So at the start of his turn, he does have access immediately to his EX. Now you could use that if you want to, and then afterwards gain access to his Lightning Discharge plus HP command. But for the purposes of the video, what I want to go ahead is actually use his LD, so then you guys can see the LD debuff in action. Hopefully we'll get to see it in action here. Alright, so let's go ahead and use it right here. Alright, so now we have it for 2 turns, as you can see right there. With Cypher, let's just go into his EX. Actually, this is a pretty powerful combination right here, having Raijin's debuff and Cypher's debuff put together. Yep, see, there it is. And I actually want to let those crystals take a turn, because when they explode, they're going to be doing HP damage, so we get to see the debuff in action further. All right, with Fujin, let's just go ahead, and I'm just going to skill one. Actually, we're just going to skill two. I forgot. I think that's high turn right now, or insta turn, because Fujin does get an upgrade later on, because she does get an FR later on, and I currently have that right now on her. All right, so what I want to do now is, you know what? I'm just gonna press. I'm gonna press this first. And I love how this is now. That is now what you call it, insta turn rate. So I know it didn't apply there because they have a immunity to paralysis, but that is so handy to have that as an insta turn because it allows Raijin to be more turn efficient as well. So it's really cool that they gave him that upgrade. Okay, so Bahamut is gonna go again. So let's just put the LD debuff back on him. Go. All right, with Cypher, let's just do this because I want the crystals to act, so we get to see it in action. All right. Okay, here we go. Zero damage. As you can see right there, that crystal acted and it did 0 damage. So you guys can see how valuable this is. Now, again, in the Shinryu era, there's going to be enemies with mechanics where at certain thresholds, they can potentially kill you or inflict like a ton of debuffs on your party that could really hamper down your party's performance. So having that debuff active, even if it's just a 2-turn duration, that's a powerful 2-turn duration because they can't do any damage to you. You're able to do more damage to them, and they can't inflict debuffs on you. So again, I personally highly recommend that you consider pulling for this LD alone just for the call itself, if you have the resources to do so. If you don't, it does come back later on, but if you can muster up the resources, I say go ahead and gun for it because it is a very, very powerful debuff to have in your back pocket, especially later on for, you know, harder stages and things like that. But this is going to go ahead and conclude my video for the Art of Raijin. Hopefully it helps you guys out to prepare for its upcoming upgrades to Global Opera Omnia. This is 40 the Broadway Saiyan signing out. Mahal, everyone.